right, good morning, everybody. It's good to be together this morning. Today is Wednesday, October the 21st, and let me say good morning to everyone. Good morning to my mom. I love you, Mama. Good morning. Good morning to John and Wendy and to Emma. Good morning to Kelly Kenfield and to Terry. Shalom to you, Terry, and Ruti. Good morning to Jim and Sarah and Nicole and Mignon and Rashad. Good morning to Richard and Ellen. Hope you guys are doing well this morning. Good morning to Charlene in Texas, and to Sonia and Naum and Sarah. Good morning, you guys. All right, and then let me say hello to Ola, to Pastor and Sister Martinez. Love you both. Hope you're doing well this morning. Good morning to Barbara Callahan, who's able to be live with us today. And good morning to Deanna and Willis, and to Jerry and Janet. How you guys? And to the Eddies, to Lauren and David and Levi and Valor and Haven and Everett. And good morning, Kathleen. Good morning to Ron and Amy and Carol. And congrats to all you Dodgers fans for the win in Game 1, by the way. So, you know, the Dodgers haven't won a World Series in practically a lifetime, since 1988. So it's been a while. This is the third time in the last 4 years they've been in it. And so if they win it this time, as much as I want the Rays to win, but I won't be heartbroken if the Dodgers win. All right. Well, the camera's smudged. Oh, there's a weird fog. There's a hate. Yeah, we're gonna get a wipe here in just a second. Okay, you're gonna see Antonio's hand come in. There we go. Okay. All right. It was a haze, like a heavenly haze this morning. All right. Okay, so this morning, our Psalms for today is the 21st, so the Psalms are 21, 51, 81, 111, and 141. And we're gonna focus on we're gonna focus on Psalm 141 this morning. And it really, there is a relationship that you can see. You know, Psalm 21, which I'm not going to read, but Psalm 21 is David just rejoicing in. Oops, hold on a second. There we go. Oh, we have a light that has a short. Sorry. We're a professional outfit here. Professional studio. All right. You know, the Psalm 21 is David being like, Lord, you've given me all the desires of my heart. Look how faithful you've been, and how good you've been to the king, and you established me, and all of this, and he's rejoicing. And then you see Psalm 51, where David has had to face this incredibly humbling correction after having intentionally walked in sin, and now he's received this rebuke, and so it's this prayer of repentance. So you go from, how can you be like, yes, Lord, I see your blessings and you've been so faithful, but then you hit this moment where you've strayed and the Lord has had to get you back on the path, and you see that happens even with David. And then when you go to Psalm 81, you know, it opens up with this a celebration of the feast, and there's really a focus on Passover and on the Lord delivering the people and delivering us out of Egypt. And then as you get to the back half of it, the Lord said, so I brought you out, and I said, okay, just walk in my ways, but you wouldn't do it. So the Lord says, so I gave you over to your own ways, so that and so you would experience the pain and the discipline of it. And so you see this kind of fickleness, right, where there's one moment of like, yes, Lord, you're so good and you're so faithful and how great you are. And the next where there's this pull toward walking in your own ways. And so it's this internal, this condition that's within our hearts. You know, one of the things that's at times can feel wearisome about in your walk with the Lord is that it can feel like this ongoing battle. I don't necessarily battle against the things I once did, but there's still a pull towards selfishness that displays itself in different ways that's hidden within me. a pull toward getting my way that is so inherent to my nature. It's totally natural. And so when you just go with the natural, right, that just flows. And that's easy. There's no resistance when you're going with what's natural. It just flows in that way. And so what we are called to is to do something, is to walk in a way that is supernatural, that goes against our nature, that lays down our rights, that says, I submit to you because my nature is broken. And so it's counterintuitive. They're to have to learn to not necessarily trust my instincts, but to be suspicious of my instincts. It can feel exhausting, right? Because my natural inclination, and for many of us, our natural inclination is to trust our instincts rather than to go, is my heart trying to get its way under covering? Is the wickedness that is resident, the selfishness that is resident in my nature, that has to die daily and tries to rise again daily? I have to crucify it daily. It's, yes, once and for all I am made new, but this ongoing process of dying daily, there are times can be exhausting, and there are moments, there are sometimes even seasons where you'll find yourself in your exhaustion having given into your own, I'm just tired of the battle, and I just want my way, and I'm tired of this, and enough. I'm tired of dying to my flesh. It's so much easier to just go back to doing things my way, even under the guise of religion, so that, look how nice and clear this is. I'm tired of this, and this exhausting thing, right? So having seen, when you observe that, not only in our own nature, but you observe that in David, the contrast between what you see in Psalm 21 and Psalm 51, and then the contrast you see from the beginning of Psalm 81 to the second half of Psalm 81. So now when you come to Psalm 141, it's really a prayer that says to the Lord, that deals with, for the most part, the self-centered pull toward wickedness that is in me. And so David comes to the Lord in Psalm 141. It's a psalm of David. And he says, Adonai, I call to you. Come quickly to me. Hear my voice when I call to you. And there's an urgency in his voice. He's coming to the Lord, and the word come quickly is husha, which the root word there, hush, has to do with to be anxious or to be agitated. So there's this, like, in my agitation, in my anxiety, Lord, that there's a hastening that comes with that. Would you come deal with this? Come quickly, hasten to this, that you would be agitated and respond quickly toward my agitation on some level. So he's coming with but there's an urgency to his prayer. I'm calling on you. Come quickly. Hear my voice when I call to you. Verse 2, may my prayer be firm, be set, established before your face, before you, which is, before you is to your face, before your face. May my prayer be set before you like incense. May the lifting of my hands be like the evening sacrifice. And so you have this picture of prayer and relationship with God, and in relationship to what is going on in the temple, in the meeting place, right? In the place that I meet with God. That there's in the temple, there's the altar of incense, and the incense is there's the smoke that's rising, and it's a picture. It's symbolic of my prayers rising to heaven, a sweet fragrance. May what I'm bringing to you be a sweet fragrance. And so you had the incense that would be going up and being lit every day, usually together with the burnt offering, and then also in connection with the evening sacrifice. And there's a desperation. The lifting of my hands, may the lifting of my hands be like the evening sacrifice. May my pleading with you be like the aroma of as the meat is cooking before you, as that the aroma is rising to you. May what's rising from me come to you in that way. So what you have are not, again, you see really even the heart of within the sacrificial system. Empty incense, empty, just lighting incense or sacrificing animals is not in and of itself somehow going to produce anything. It's supposed to be tied to this relational calling out to God. So there's a desperation in David's prayer here. Then what is he praying? What is he so earnestly and intentionally praying? Verse 3, he says, "Set a guard, Adonai, over my mouth. Keep watch over the door of my lips." Okay, so David asked the Lord to set a watchman, to fix a watchman, a guard over my mouth, right? And that the Lord himself would keep watch, would watch the door of my lips, see what's coming in and out of there, right? Now, typically, the idea of a watchman guarding the door, if I put a watchman at the door of my house, and I say, set a watchman over my door, generally, the main focus is to keep the enemy that's out there from coming in, right? To keep what's dangerous out there from coming into my mouth or into the door. But this is talking about my mouth. So this isn't like saying, Lord, help me with my diet plan. Keep a watch over what's coming into my mouth, right? This is him saying, set a watchman over what's coming out of my mouth. And Yeshua says in Matthew chapter 11, says it's not what goes into the mouth that makes you unclean, that makes you defiled, makes you unholy. It's what comes out of the mouth that makes you unclean. He says from the overflow of the heart, what comes out of the mouth is the overflow of the heart. And so the question isn't what's going into my mouth. The question is what's going on in my heart. What's cooking inside me, what's boiling over. And so he says to the Lord, set a watchman over. But then basically he's saying there's a recognition that what's coming out of my mouth, I'm asking you to deal with the external, set a watchman over my words, over the things that I'm saying. And the things that we say matter. I mean, we see it repeatedly. Yesterday in the psalm that we looked at yesterday, there was this, in Psalm 50, there's this focus on what needs to be coming forth from us are words of thanksgiving and that are associated with walking in obedience to the Lord. But the things that the Lord speaks against are slander and speaking lies and treachery and all of that kind of stuff. And Psalm 15, who can enter who can come upon the hill of the Lord? He who has clean hands and a pure heart. He who doesn't. It talks about how I'm not able at the moment to repeat it, but that who tells the truth even when it hurts. That what comes out of our mouth matters. But what's coming out of our mouth is a reflection of what's going on inside. So now in verse 4. The Lord goes from asking the Lord to just guard the outside to now kind of probing the inside. What's going on inside of me? And so he says in verse 4, let not my heart turn or be inclined, be stretched out. It's a word, natat, that has to do with kind of to stretch out. Let not my heart keep reaching, stretching out, turning toward any evil thing. And it actually uses the word devar, which can be a thing, but it typically means a word or a thing. So in the context of the Lord setting a guard over my mouth, the first thing it says is, let not my heart be reaching out toward evil words. Let not my heart be going toward any evil words, and that's not talking about necessarily only kind of swear words, evil words. That's not what it is. I mean, that can be included, impure language, but it has to do with words that would not reflect what is in the heart of God. Let not my heart be reaching out toward that which words that are not of you, to practice deeds of wickedness with men that work iniquity. And this phrase to practice deeds of wickedness it's a repetition of a word olal. It's lehit olal alalot. And so it has to do with this. It can mean, I was trying to really gather the overall picture of what this means, because it can mean to drink again and again, to inflict pain, to glean, to deal mischievously. And so it's basically this picture of like in my heart that it wouldn't be wanting to, leaning toward a gleaning, mischievous, kind of indulgent, self-indulgence, desiring to walk with others in that same way. Let not my heart turn to any evil word, or to practice to walk in this self-indulgent, these deeds of wickedness with men that work iniquity, that do iniquity, that walk in ways that are not of you. Nor let me eat of their delicacies. And so this word, maname, naam, so it's kind of an onomatopoeia here. It's num, 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 num. The delicious. It tastes so good. So dealing with in my heart, let not my heart eat of their sweet things. That, like, how sugar, like when I'm not eating sweet things, I'm generally, the longer I go not eating them, I actually get okay with it. But when I begin to eat them, I want more, right? Like, I want more of that. I'm like, it's just a little bit. I wish just a little bit, I put the chocolate in my mouth and just let it melt in my mouth. But I want more. It awakens a craving within. And so what the psalmist recognizes it within his heart is he's having to ask the Lord. He's pleading with the Lord to hear my prayer, set a guard over my mouth, but watch what's going in my heart. Because there's an inclination toward wanting words that are going toward things and words that are not of you, and toward the sweetness that's almost addictive, that's hypnotic. I want more, the delicacies of the wicked, of those who are walking in iniquity, because it feeds what's natural. There's the seeming sweetness, the ease of walking in your own ways. It's like, the psalmist elsewhere will say things like, the one I think of often is Psalm 73, where he says, boy, I almost lost my footing because I looked at the wicked and it just seemed like everything went so easily for them. And I thought, what, am I doing all this in vain? They don't even die in pain. Everything's easy for them. They just seem to get away with everything. Is this all a big waste of time for me? That there can be, and then he says, and then I entered the sanctuary of my God, and I saw how I got perspective, right? But sometimes there can be a hypnotic, like an ease in walking in your own ways that's addictive, and the more you feed your flesh, the stronger your flesh gets, the more the natural you wants to rise up. And so the Psalm, David here is actually pleading with God to deal with that internal hunger for the delicacies of the wicked, that internal hunger to walk in this ways. He's asking the Lord, please don't let me do these things. And I don't know about you, if there have been times in your life. I know there were times in my life, and there have been, where I'm like, Lord, can you just kind of take me over like a robot? I can't do it. It's too hard. So you know what? I just want you to do it for me. And that's not what the Lord does. Yes, his Spirit dwells within us. Yes, he empowers us. But he wants us to go through the very difficult process, the painful process of dying to our flesh, of submitting our will to him. And that process ultimately will produce something in us. But in the meantime, there's this wrestling. God, please don't let me do this. And then I have to walk in obedience to him. There's a sweetness to what they offered. So don't let my heart long for this enticing, intoxicating delicacy. Don't let me be lured by it. So how is the Lord? What's my prayer? How am I going to not be lured by the sweetness of it? It's like, Lord, do what you got to do. Verse 5, let the righteous strike me. It is chesed, it says. Let the righteous beat me, smite me. And let him correct, yachak, let him dispute, rebuke me, reason together with me. Let the righteous come to me and snap me out of this. What's the matter with you? Let him not come with like just and keep offering me delicacies, but when I'm hypnotized by the wanting my own way, my own flesh, that when the righteous come with a word of rebuke, it is covenant faithfulness. It is covenant loyalty. It is love. It is chesed. In our version, it says it is kindness, but it's chesed. That's the word. The eternal love of God, chesed. When the righteous bring a word of rebuke that snaps me out of my self-indulgence, that's love. Not just telling me what I want to hear. He continues, he says, let him correct me, let him rebuke me. It is oil on my head. Shemen is oil or the fat of the sacrifice, the choice foods. Like when you have the reason I like a ribeye steak is that in the ribeye steak, it's got fat throughout it. So when you cook it, the juices from that fat fill the steak, and it's so delicious. That flavor, and it says that the rebuke of the righteous is the flavor that I need. It's oil on my head. It's the choice food. As opposed to the delicacies that I was longing for. It's the difference between, sweets and a ribeye steak. The sweets are addictive, but they don't satisfy, and they keep you craving more, and their delicacies, they ruin you. So Lord, feed me with the things that sustain me and build me. Let there be a rebuke. It is oil on my head. It is the choice food on my head. My head will not refuse it. Yani will not hinder it or thwart it or prevent it. I will receive. This is a heart condition that comes to the Lord, recognizing this battle, set a guard over my mouth, deal with my heart. Let me not long for their delicacies. If the righteous has to slap me to wake me out of it, to snap me, that's what I want. I'm saying, Lord, I'm ready. Even if you have to discipline me, rebuke me. Now, so that brings us back to that picture in Psalm 51 of when Nathan had to bring that word of rebuke to David. David is asking the Lord, please do that. Don't let me go off the cliff. Don't let me walk in my own ways toward destruction. But whatever it takes, smack me, turn me, rebuke me, because that is chesed. That gets me back on the path that leads to life. My head will not refuse it. And he says, ki od, for yet still, or for again, full circle, my prayer is against their wickedness. Whose wickedness, right? Doesn't say. Their wickedness, but the wickedness that I'm drawn toward, the wickedness that I've said, don't let me walk in these ways, the wickedness that my heart seems to want to go toward. My prayer is again against that. I don't want their delicacies. So now, kind of having been rebuked, thank you, Lord, for your kindness, for the chesed of the rebuke of the righteous. That's what I need. That's what I request. That's what this whole prayer is about. That's the anxiety, in fact. That's the hastening. Hurry up and help me with this to walk in your ways. I've been jolted out of my delusion. I've been smacked out of the hypnotic pull toward the allure of wickedness. When you're walking in your own flesh, and it's totally natural. It feels natural and right and normal. And the idea of laying down your rights or dying to your flesh or saying no to yourself is, again, so counterintuitive. It's like a hypnotic trance, and it doesn't feel real. But when the Lord slaps you out of it, now it gives you clarity. And now you can see with clarity how the ways of selfishness, which is really ultimately what characterizes sin, it's me first, my way, what it leads to is a world full of inequity, a world full of injustice, a world full of everyone pulling for themselves, not pulling concerned about others. Ultimately, selfishness is destructive. It tears apart and destroys, it neglects, and it ruins. It turns a garden of beauty into a place of weeds and thorns and destruction. And so when you get the clarity, the Lord, you begin to see that the judgments or the judgments of the wicked fall. You get clarity about what ends up happening when you walk in wickedness. Verse 6, their judges, or their shofteim, from the word mishpat, shoftei. So a pe in Hebrew can also make a fe sound. If there's a dot, it's a p. If there's not a dot, it's a f, but it's the same letter. So sometimes it'll be mishpat, or if you take a version of that, it'll be shaf. It'll take the sheen and the pay, and it'll be shafat. So shoftim. So their judgments, the decisions of their justice, are thrown down from a cliff, are dropped, released. It says from the hands of a rock is literally what it says. The hands, the edges, the sides, the hands of a rock drop their judgments. They fall to the ground. The ways of the wicked, which lead to this, to false and to a mishpatim, to a judgment that is not just, gets dropped like a rock, or dropped from the cliff, from the hands of a rock. It says, then they will hear my words, since they are sweet. So their judgments, or their judges, but judgments, are dropped from the cliff, and then they hear my words, which are sweet, and that word sweet is the word na'imu, which is the root word for the delicacies. So now my words, let not my heart turn toward their delicacies, but when what they are walking in, when the ways of the wicked come to their fruition, it's like it drops from a cliff and it's death. And then they hear, because my words, which are your words, Lord, that you're working in me, are actual delicacies, not their delicacies. Continues in verse 7. As when one plows and breaks open the earth, so our bones are scattered at the mouth of Sheol. So this is the picture of the judges, or the judgments, the things that have been, those that have been dropped off the cliff. This is their words, that like when one breaks up the soil, that's our bones are scattered at the mouth of Sheol. That's the consequence of walking in the ways of the wicked, of walking in the judgments of the wicked that are self-centered. And so for those that cling to those, that fall with them. So that's why the psalmist is praying, don't let me walk in that way. And so he says here in verse 8, for my eyes are toward you, Adonai, my Lord, God, my Lord. But I don't know why they put the word God here, because it actually is Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, it's his name. My eyes are toward you, Adonai, Adonai, the Lord, my Lord, my Lord. In you I have taken refuge. In you I have hidden. I am concealed in you. I'm covered in you. Do not expose my soul. So that word expose is ta'ar, which has to do with nakedness. So I am clothed in you, covered in you, sheltered in you, not just exposed. My eyes are on you. I'm covered in you. You are my covering. Do not expose my being, my soul, nafshati. Verse 9. Keep me, Shamar, preserve me. Watch over me. Keep me from the hands of the trap, from the jaws of the trap, but it's the hands of the trap they have laid for me. And the picture here is of a bird catcher that has set nets, that has a fowler who has laid the trap, of the hunters who laid the trap. So keep me from the jaws of the trap that have been laid for me. Where is the trap? Right? Her traps Again, this is an internal look. It's not just about out there. Not about an enemy just out there. It's about what's going on in here, the traps within my heart, the delicacies within. Keep me from those traps, from the snares of the evildoers. Let the wicked fall into their own nets while I pass by safely. And it leaves it in the image, let the wicked fall into their own nets. And then it says yachad, in unity, together with as I pass by safely. So let that happen in unity, in unison, that the wickedness falls into its own trap while that the trap that was supposed to catch me doesn't catch me. But at the same time that exposes itself and it's trapped, the wickedness is trapped, that I pass by safely. And so it's this call upon the Lord, this perpetual call, this prayer to search me, guard my lips, but guard what's going on behind my lips. And guard me, and that I wouldn't hunger for those things. That what would end up, that what would come forth from me are the actual delicacies of you. Lord, that you would purify my heart, that you would strengthen me for today's battle, right? For today's, from the morning incense and morning sacrifice till the evening sacrifice, I lift up my prayer to you. Lord, let it may arise as incense. Deal with me in the depth of my heart. Purify me. Guard me. Protect me from that which would trap me, that which would ensnare me. Give me eyes to see, right? And that's our prayer, is that we would, in our weariness, give in. Not this day, right? Every day you say, not today. Today I'm going to die to my flesh. Every day, today, may I die and let Yeshua live within me. In those moments when I'm just like, no, and Cosmo wants to rise up and have his own way. That's today, when in that moment, that's when I have to crucify the flesh and let Yeshua rise up within me. And that the fruit of the Spirit would flow forth from our lives of love and joy and peace and kindness and gentleness and goodness, self-control, slow to anger. And when I recognize that I'm not slow to anger, that I'm easily lit, that I'm easily irritated, I gotta get on my knees and cry out to God and say, come, Lord, and to be anxious over that, to say, I give this to you, hasten to me, deal with me, right? Not to say, actually, but in your anxiety over that, bring it to the Lord, search me, know me. Okay, well, I think you get the idea. Let me say good morning to anybody else that I missed. Did I say good morning to Ron? Did I say good morning to Ron and Amy? If I didn't, I'm sorry. Good morning, Ron and Amy. Good morning, Lori and Pat. Good morning to Elizabeth and Salome and Philip and Jesse. Good morning, you guys. And let's see. Let me switch pages here. See if anybody else is with us. Good morning, Jenny. I hope you're doing well this morning. And congrats on your new house. That's pretty cool. And good morning to April. It's good to have you with us this morning, April. And I think, I see we have Deb and we have Katrina. Good morning to both of you as well. And Forrest and Catherine, good morning to you guys as well. All right, well, Lord, search us, right? Search my heart. Make me like you. It's not the easy path, right? The road, Yeshua talks about the narrow way and the broad way. And the way that's easy, many find it. Dying to my own nature, to my own selfish nature, is so it's unnatural, right? It goes against, it's so much easier to just give in to my anger in the moment, to give in to my desires in the moment, to give in to me. But I want to become like him. If any man would come after him, follow me, he must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me, right? And so today, let's do that. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom, shalom. Have a beautiful day.